And this is
that
this
one
is the
stood out
biggest
because we never had to do that before.
of the season
You know,
right now.
it's not
Okay, let me
over
check.
there. But she should have an assistant. And now she's 4 days a week, not 5, because she rested a day off. Right? So I didn't know how that works, how the law works. The ordinance, what
Try to retain it. When it comes up, you're going, I know this, but I just go over it again. This is she's not busy. She'll over stuff.
Hi, Ray.
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
That's not the catch game already, is it?
No, I'm just trying to make sure
Just make sure you have it. That's.
I have it, but I'm trying to make sure I don't have
So
it.
during the meeting, you don't want to miss it.
Yeah, it'll be like
Over
this.
here, I thought yours would be up there. Yeah.
We'll
We
get
only need to
updated.
know the ending. It's only the
Councilman
last
Weed.
couple minutes that matter.
Well, this is true. Most of the time, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, usually it's so close and then they're,
Okay. Okay, that's something I did not know.
Yeah, it's something we've been dealing with since we just hired council.
Looks good. Looks good. Looks good. Okay. Let's get this meeting rolling here. Oh. Council, ready? Everybody good? Okay. Let me make sure I got my phone off so I don't mess with, it's not off, but the ringer. It just made me think of a councilman who's no longer with us, when, at one meeting when his cell phone went
It'll
off.
always go off.
It was something, you know, he was a good man.
Yes, he was.
So that's, okay. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Village of Walton Hills regular council meeting of Tuesday, November 19th, 2024 at 7:04 p.m. Next order of business is pledge allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for our deceased residents, Charles Serenetti, Richard Jones, and Jerry Rosa. Okay, thank you, everybody. Roll call, Nikki?
Councilman Nielsen?
Here.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
here.
Councilwoman Allen?
Here.
Councilman Spitznagel?
Here,
If I can get
I
that out.
think.
Councilman Whedon?
Present.
Okay. Also like to welcome anybody watching the live stream, any residents, non-residents. Okay, we are also recording it, our dispatch is also recording the meeting. Okay, item 5 is any persons having business before council at this time. Okay. Item 6 is mayor's report. I'm going to do the police report first and then the court report. The Walton Hills Police Department issued 52 citations in the month of October. The predominant violation was speed, with 27 citations issued, followed by 8 citations issued for expired plates, 6 citations issued for driving under suspension. We had no arrests for driving while under the influence of alcohol and drugs. That's the one That's the number we like to see at 0. Okay. Before I do my court report, I would like to make a comment. I forgot to say all council is present, along with our fiscal officer, Nicole Sell, our law director, Mr. Montello, our police chief, David Kwiatkowski, and our outside legal, Brendan Heel, is here tonight, too. So, okay. So we'll move on to the mayor's court report for October. Total revenue was $20,299. Year-to-date is $201,646.93. Last year-to-date was $207,434.16. So it's down about 6,000. Okay. At this time, any comments from council? All right. Number 8 is a motion to go into executive session, and I just kind of want to explain why we have it on the agenda first. Normally, we have it at the end, and the reason is, and some of you that were at last COW's meeting heard us talk about it, we do have our outside legal counsel here to discuss some things in executive session relating to a CRA agreement with the first building up at the Forward Innovation East site, the former Ford site. So there are some things that are private, and we deemed it necessary. A lot of it that we did talk a little bit about it in the COW meeting with Mr. Jordan, our economic development consultant, but tonight. So, and the reason is we want to get a little more counsel and, wants to be very comfortable because we do have legislation that is on the agenda tonight. So they've been looking at, this isn't the first thing, we've been sharing information. We have gone into executive session over the last year relating to things at that building. So just kind of wanted to let everybody know. So after we come out of an executive session, council votes to go into it, we will come out and vote on legislation that's on the agenda. Okay? Anybody's welcome to stay. We're going to keep this part open. We're going to go in the mayor's office there to have the executive session. At that time, so the live stream will go off, and then we'll come back, reconvene, and then we'll continue the meeting, and we will have legislation at that time that we will vote on. So that's where we're at. Any questions? Anybody? Okay, at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, before I make the motion, it was just explained to us by our outside counsel in your office, myself, you, and Mr. Montello, that we need 2 motions to go into executive session this evening. One specifically for the CRA issue that's on the agenda. And we need a separate vote for that motion specifically. And that motion has to be approved unanimously. He may want to explain that to us later on or whatever, but that's the way that has to work. After that, I'll make the other motion.
Unless you abstain, counts as a yes vote.
Correct. And then I will make the other motion to go into executive session to discuss the other items we have on the agenda. Okay? So the first motion, Mr. Mayor and Council, I move that Village Council enter into an executive session pursuant to ORC 121.22G8 to consider confidential information related to the marketing plans, specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance respecting a request for economic development assistance, and that council will be hearing information that is directly related to a request for economic development assistance under ORC 3735.671, and the executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the economic development project.
Second?
Second by Mr. Councilman Nielsen. Vote on the motion.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
And Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Spitznagel.
my second motion to go into executive session will be a motion to go into executive session to discuss pending or imminent court action and to discuss personnel matters regarding dispatchers.
Second.
Okay, second by Councilwoman Allen. Vote on the motion.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, we're going to go in executive session at 7:12 p.m. We will reconvene, and then finish the council meeting of November 19, 2024.
Zero. But, you know, a lot of residents go back, you know, like the next day and stuff.
Oh, I hear you, I know, I hope nobody was waiting on that. The big tree lighting in Bedford next week, huh?
Yep.
Should be fun.
Are you flipping the switch this year?
I usually go up there, but I gotta go for a medical procedure on Tuesday, so I probably won't make it. Nothing major, just a routine check. But, kinda like an all-day thing though. 65, you gotta do those tests, you know what I mean? So, make sure you're okay.
No, it's working.
You know, I left my jacket in there, but I'm sure I'll forget that.
Ready, Jim? We're gonna go out there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're right, I can't forget about that. All right, looks good, Nikki. It's working there, so, and Vicky is, for some reason, that's good. See, it shows, you know, and I don't know why that's spinning over there. I seen everything look good. Okay, everybody ready? I'd like to ask for a motion to reconvene back from executive session in the regular council meeting of Tuesday, November 19, 2024, at 9:58 p.m. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make that motion.
Second.
Made by Councilman Spitznagel, seconded by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the motion.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. Reconvened at 9:58. At this time, we'll move on to the legislation. Does anybody want to just kind of go, I don't want to just go through it, and whoever wants to
No.
introduce it? I mean, just introduce it? Okay. Who would like to introduce ordinance 2024-13?
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Councilman Nielsen,
yes,
for suspension.
for suspension. Yes, I would like to introduce ordinance number 2024-13 for suspension An ordinance authorizing the village to enter into a community reinvestment area tax abatement with DROF Walton Hills Number 1 LLC for property located at 7845 Northfield Road in the village of Walton Hills and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to ask for adoption of ordinance number 2024-13.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, Ray.
Second by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2024-13 passed 5-0. Thank you, everybody. Okay, we're on item B, ordinance 2024-14. Who would like to introduce
Mr.
that
Mayor?
for suspension?
I'd like to introduce for suspension ordinance number 2024-14, an ordinance terminating a community reinvestment area tax abatement with Trio Fund 1, Walton, Charleston LLC, for property located at Northfield Road and Alexander Road in the village of Walton Hills and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Okay, introduced by Councilwoman Allen for suspension, second by Councilman Spitznagel. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Okay, suspension passed. I'd like to ask for Councilwoman Allen.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption of ordinance 2024-14.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Spitznagel. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, 2024-14 passed under suspension. Thank you, everybody. Okay. Item C, who would like to introduce 2024-15?
Mayor Colograph, members of council, I'd like to introduce for suspension ordinance number 2024-15, the ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with O.R. Colin Associates, ORC, to perform right-of-way acquisition services for the Meadow Park Drive sewer project and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second by Councilman Nielsen. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, suspension passed 5-0.
Mayor Colograph, members of council, I'd like to ask for the adoption of ordinance number 2024-15.
Second.
Second by Councilman Nielsen. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-15 passed. Thank you, everybody. Item D, ordinance 2024-16.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce,
Councilman Kanzoni.
I'd like to introduce for suspension resolution number 2024-16, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Heritage Research Group to provide pavement exploration services for the Ryan Drive and Sealy Circle resurfacing project and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second by Councilman Allen. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, suspension passed 5-0.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption for resolution number 2024-16.
Second.
Second by Jennifer Allen. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, ordinance 2024-16 passed 5-0. Thank you, everybody. Item E, ordinance 2024-17.
Mr. Mayor,
Jennifer Allen, Councilwoman Allen.
I'd like to ask for suspension of ordinance number 2024-17, an ordinance approving a transfer agreement with Trio Fund Walton Charleston LLC, and authorizing the Walton Hills Land Reutilization Program to accept title to certain real property and declaring an emergency.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Nielsen. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption of ordinance 2024-17.
Is there a second?
Second.
Councilman Nielsen, vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, Council, ordinance 2024-17 passed, 5-0. Thank you, everybody. We're on item F, resolution 2024-33. Who would like to introduce that?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman
I'd
Spitznagel.
like to introduce for suspension a resolution accepting the recommendations of the Tax Incentive Review Council on the Village of Walton Hills Community Reinvestment Act agreements and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second by, for suspension, Councilman Whedon. Vote on the suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Suspension passed.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption of resolution 2024-33.
Second.
Second by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Resolution 2024-33 passed 5-0. Thank you. Item G, resolution 2024-34.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce for suspension resolution number 2024-34, a resolution authorizing the Village of Walton Hills, Ohio, to enter into a member community infrastructure grant program agreement with the Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District for the Sanitary Sewer Study Phase 2 project and declaring an emergency.
Second.
Second. So that's for the suspension, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Vote on suspension.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to ask for adoption for resolution number 2024-34.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
I know we have, thank you, everybody, on the legislation. 2024-34 passed 5-0. I know we have item 10 there, finance discussion. I think we'll save that for the next COW meeting, okay? We have number 11. Who would like item 11?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilman Allen?
I'd like to make a motion authorizing the finance director to appropriate funds to hire an additional full-time officer and not to appropriate funds for the part-time vacancy at this time in consideration of hiring an additional full-time officer.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Kanzoni. Vote on the adoption.
Councilman
On the motion.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed 5-0. Just, I know we talked a little bit about it. The chief, myself, Mr. Montello, and Mr. Delano talked yesterday and went through to make sure everything's good and not conflicting with the CBA. So I'm sure the chief will move
Hit send.
on that. So, any old or new business at this time? Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion for adjournment of our regular council meeting.
Is there a second? Second by Councilman Whedon. Vote on the adjournment.
Councilman Nielsen?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kanzoni?
Yes.
Councilwoman Allen?
Yes.
Councilman Spitznagel.
Yes.
Councilman Whedon?
Yes.
Okay. Meeting adjourned at 10:09 of Tuesday, November 19, 2024.